Well, we're going to do some inking today. I wear a glove because I use Bristol board, and if I get grease from my hand on it, the ink doesn't stick, which is a real bugger. So I work with a brush. It's made from Himalayan squirrel pubic hairs. And it's the only explanation I can get because of how much it costs. It's a Princeton Velvet Touch round number 9 or 6.
Really?
gotta
You
be a
don't
9.
know if it's 9 or 6?
It's gotta be a 9.
Okay.
All right. How do you get a straight line with a brush? See, most people, well, of course you use a ruler, but you have to tilt the ruler. This is a regular wooden ruler with a metal edge. So the metal edge helps you grip the paper. And geez, I'm having trouble seeing because we're in kind of dark. It says Phydeaux at night. And if you have the ruler on a slight angle, so you can't obviously lay it flat because your brush will never hit, but if you tilt on a slight, let's say, 45-degree angle, maybe less, you can give yourself a convincingly straight line.
I don't know how much of this is getting picked up in your video, but for those of you wondering, the screaming children are people in the hallway, not any of our family or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't have any children. We live in
We
a
live in an
glass.
apartment building.
Yeah, we live in a glass box in the sky, and unfortunately, other people have to live in the building too. So what I'm going to do here is trying not to touch the paper as much as possible. Make the lines. I really screwed that one up. And whenever you do touch paper, these 2 fingers are protecting you with the glove. But it looks not only stylish, but useful. Ooh.
Yeah, let's see.
And because the light is so poor, I'm doing a horrible job. All right. Sides, top. We're doing happy lines. Happy lines.
And we'll put some happy little trees.
A happy little line. Happy lines are straight lines.
And straight lines are happy lines.
Indeed. Everyone who is new to my page, and that's just the first time I'm doing this, the voice you hear in the background is the lovely Miss Vicky, my wife. So yes, I found a woman who would marry me. So therefore I'm not a complete loser. Wow, look how it, hey, wait a minute, you'll see how poorly I'm doing today. Because I could not see to a point. I didn't even finish these lines. I don't think this comic strip will make it to publication, as I've done such a horrible job on it already.
Yes, but we just want to watch the sausage be made.
I love it when a woman talks about sausages. Well, anyway, that is that. How do you make a straight line with a paintbrush? That's how you do it. So, Phydeaux works in a 4-panel format. I've already done the lettering and, well, the rough and finished penciling. Someday I'll show you the wonders of this device that I've created called the Comic Calibrator. You'll have to see that in some future videos. So right now I'm going to bore you by lettering. And here we go.
I'm watching this with you guys, so, you know, in case anybody's wondering why I'm just hanging out. I don't normally hover over my husband's shoulder. I do hang on his every word, but I don't normally hover over his shoulder. Which joke is this? I can't really see it.
Well, it's the one that.
Why can't
Oh,
we-
no. I thought I was actually. This is kind of funny. I thought it was another strip.
Oh.
No, I thought we were doing the one that you said, wow, that's deep. But no, this is not deep whatsoever. Phydeaux is just insulted that his owner would whistle to call him.
Oh, yes.
Like, what do you think I am, a dog?
Ah, okay.
So, as I've just written, I use a 22.5 degree angle slant, which I've created with my lettering guide, which I'll show you someday in the future. So alright. Did you just whistle to call me? Are the lines I am writing, and not enough space between to and call, so I have to now go off my original penciling and try to justify it so it still looks professional. Did you just whistle to call me? And Bo's putting on his coat. Yeah. Yeah, and actually, I'm going to put ... because it's sort of, I love Japanese animation, Japanese manga comic books, where they can, in a panel, just put ... It's like, Akira, why did you do that? And it's, no, that's the dialogue, ...
I use that a lot in my posts.
Hey, ...
On Facebook, yeah. I don't know why. I just do.
It's actually really cool to be able to chat with the wife while I'm doing this, because usually she leaves me alone because she's afraid that if she dents it, walks into the board, whatever, I'll get upset with her because I've done a errant line. But
Yes, I'm keeping a relatively safe distance.
But she doesn't realize that there's such a thing as whiteout. And, well, that cleans up.
Yeah,
ink.
but
Speaking of ink, back on the, most people want to know everything you're using. I use a Sumi Japanese, basically calligraphy ink, cheapest stuff in the world. It's beautifully black. It flows. I'd recommend that you stay away from Winsor Newton. Too watery. I'll show you Winsor Newton.
and if any of those people from Windsor Newton are watching right
Yeah,
now,
I'm not
he
gonna
did
get-
not mean to say that. He meant.
I'm not going to get a commercial deal unless Winsor Newton fixes their ink. Sorry. Yeah, come on. Where we are. So actually, I should put a apostrophe. I'm glad I stopped. Yeah. Good punctuation is the sign of quality comic strips. Going.
I don't think I'd let you get away with bad punctuation or
Dot,
bad
dot. So
grammar.
this is another ... Ellipses are very important. Yeah, come on, we're going. And his sentence is cut off by Phydeaux's anger. How dare!
Dun, 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 dun.
How? And I have so in comic strips, when someone is saying something louder in a regular sentence, like "Why are you here?" I don't know what it is, but it's "How dare you here?" So I've made the dare larger. I think I stole this from Burke Breathitt, Bloom County. About the same size. How dare you?
So now those same children playing in the hallways are thinking that you're yelling at me. How dare you?
So there's a whole generation of children out there who are enjoying Phydeaux without even knowing it. How dare you whistle? I hope I spelled that right. W-H-I-S-T-L-E?
That sounds right to me.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a degree in English, but it's literature, not spelling.
Okay.
Although I did work as a copy editor for a while. I corrected other people's spelling. How dare you whistle for me? And break up dialogue. I could have done this all in one word balloon, but people like it when one sentence is in a word balloon and then another sentence in presumably another thought can be in the second word balloon. So Phydeaux has 2 word balloons here, as Bo will have in the next panel. But how dare you whistle for me? And then the eventually comic payback, which will work for you know comma, I should. Am I gonna read every word? Let me just finish. Let me just finish inking this, and then I'll act out the lines because I hate it when people do that.
Are you gonna read the whole thing like
Yeah,
you do
yeah,
a normal
yeah,
fighter?
all right, yeah, exactly.
Are you gonna repost it tomorrow or just post
Oh,
this?
this actually is probably not gonna come up till like next week,
Oh,
if
okay.
at all, because I'm already not happy with it. I don't like that F. So.
It looks like a perfectly good F to me. And I should not know it.
All right. Now, I like with exclamation points to start thick and work thin. So, yeah. Okay. You know, I should whistle for you. And now Bo's got his 2 word balloons.
Just as a possible interesting side note, the wife tried to be clever and cute and bought a memo board in the shape of a word balloon for our kitchen.
We've never used it. But
Yeah, we don't use it.
dry erase boards don't work. You can't.
I know, but I tried to buy like one in the shape of a word balloon. I thought it'd be clever and cute.
Dogs can't whistle. But sure.
See, this is normally what happens when he's inking. I try to be as quiet as possible.
Well, there's going to be a lot of quiet moments in this video, and like Bob Ross, you have to love the silences.
Okay. But I will warn you, my voice just gets sexier as it gets quieter.
For anyone who's interested, she can like show her feet while we're being silenced here, so at least you have something interesting to look at.
No.
You know, a lot of guys like to look at women's feet.
Yeah, no, I haven't had a pedicure on.
That's it. But sure, Phydeaux, if you want to call me, just whistle. And last panel, which is many days later. Most of this stuff is written during the day, drawn at night. But it's kind of fitting that we're doing this in such a dark and romantically lit room.
Oh, we don't have the candle. Do we have the candle lit?
Nope, the candle's not lit. Why don't you take care of that?
I should do
At
that.
least you have something to do.
No, I'm watching you.
Well, actually, you're just making sure that I'm hitting the right buttons because the computer is at my back, and this is just this is done just on the camera that's on my Macintosh. No GoPro here, folks. No editing software, by the way. This is live, as it were.
Yeah, but you just got through telling me it wasn't gonna be posted for about a week, so quasi-live.
Oh, I am running into a problem.
Oh no.
Oh, maybe it'll work. I'm almost out of room. Can I get the M in? Yes. I like to try to keep the letters as far from the border as possible. All right. And the punchline is I bought this thing, and I can't think of a reason ever to call him. He bought a whistle, because dogs can't whistle, so he purchased a whistle. Woohoo! All right, I use a... Actually, I don't quite know what they call this. I'm trying to... I studied under... Understanding... Secrets of Professional Cartoonist by Ken Muse, and he listed all these styles of word balloons, and over the years I guess I've just come to this. They seem to be just parentheses, I suppose. Well, show you how the word balloon is created in a moment. The word balloon is just to tell the reader who's speaking, obviously. Just did the parenthesis on either side. And I'll twist it this way, do the parenthesis on the top, and you get sort of a squarish shaped word balloon. I think I wanted, let's see, actually I didn't decide. Do I want the word balloon, the arrow coming from in or behind? Usually people like when the balloon comes in front of the person's face, but you can get away with it coming behind the person. We'll do it in front of both face because there's room. All the time, see, my characters are such that Bo is twice to 3 times the size of Phydeaux, so his head is always more or less up in the clouds, up in the balloons. Where Phydeaux's down here, I usually have to get Phydeaux to, like in this case, sitting on a countertop to get eye level with the guys. It's just. I flip because it's easier to do an arc with your palm planted on the table. And you're usually using a brush, so you want to get a nice big thick line because presumably these things are going to be published, they'll be much smaller. As you can see, this is 24 inches wide. Actually, is it 21? It might be 29. And I used to work in a pen, but when you work with a pen, you want to do all these little fine lines and fine details that just turn into garbage and no one sees when it gets reproduced. So when I was in art school, I had an art teacher who told me I would never be any good with a brush. So worked with, no, I've worked with brushes ever since. I didn't prove anyone wrong. No. I'm not like that.
Oh, sorry.
I don't want to come off like that because I used to be a carpenter, and in that field, everyone always criticized other people's work. It's always taught as not professional to criticize.
No, it's saying that
Let me finish my thought. Sorry. Not professional to criticize another man's work because they can criticize your own work. And also, don't take too much pride in anything because you gotta be humble. Yeah, the lines look like crap, but this is a hand-drawn comic strip on Bristol board with brush and ink. It's gotta look a little bit rough. All right, now we're gonna draw the actual characters. I'm gonna just get a little ink off of the brush now because I'm gonna start. I usually like to start with Phydeaux's nose. People think it's just a square block, but actually, what I always intended was that it would be just some fine lines. But I'm so horrible with the brush. I bet that just looks like a square block. But someday, if I get good enough with the brush, you'll actually see that those are fine lines as they are intended. But, well, you can always hope. So I'm trying to get a look on Phydeaux's face whereby he's saying, did you just whistle to call me? I mean, he doesn't quite believe this is what he did. So I got his, to get expression, which all I'm working with here are eyes and mouth. So the eyes are slightly oval, so they're sort of like squinting as if he's not quite sure when he's looking at you. And then down here, the jaw drops down. It's sort of like, ugh. Oh, look.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get his tongue in there, and bottom lip. And so, did you just whistle to call me? And Phydeaux's expression, part of it, is in these 3 tufts of hair in the back that will go up when he's mad, down, sort of try to get his language. And then we work with the body language here. And this arm is down sort of in a neutral position, but, well, ready to strike. And this arm is, so he's sort of almost as if he's holding his pearls to his chest. How dare you? And also, tail. I use the tail much more expressive in the cat characters, but a dog's tail, and his has been not lopped off. We'll never explain why. He's got it lopped off. In case anyone is asking, Phydeaux is a terrier. And he kind of likes that term because he thinks he brings the terror. Alright, and Beau's putting on his jacket. The character here is named Beau Gash, and I've joked whether, his first name is Beau and his last name is Gash, or is his name just Beau Gash. Named after Flash Beau Gash, a roller derby champion, also named after a gentleman who I used to work with many years ago. I actually don't know what his real name was, but we just knew him as Beau Gash. It's kind of funny because the character Dino here is based on Donnie Murray, another guy I used to work with who actually looks a lot like that. Beau Gash doesn't look anything like my character here. Beau Gash is like an older gentleman. Dino and Donnie Murray and the original Beau Gash used to live together. Sort of in a similar situation that now my 2 comic strip characters live. Donnie Murray slept on Beau Gash's floor because Beau was just a nice guy. Probably because he also brought drugs, but I can't say that.
Yeah.
No.
No, okay, never mind. My knee was squeaking.
Alright, let's see. Yeah, he's getting pretty rough lines. I don't know. Beau's putting on his jacket. His sleeve, his arm is up into that sleeve, obviously. Don't know why he's putting on his jacket. It's the summer, but oh well. Why not have him doing something? And the Beau shoes. Always very conscious of footwear, I suppose. And in the second panel here, we have Beau literally walking off the panel. And he doesn't care what Phydeaux's saying. I'm out of here. Happy trees. Happy. Now, why do you do this unnecessary cross-hatching in the hair? I saw Robert Crump do it. If anyone's ever seen Robert Crump's drawings, they're completely different style from my own. I stole that from him. Mr. Crump and I I hope would be friends, but we have nothing whatsoever similar in our lives.
Okay.
But I'll give my own little tribute to an influence, Barbara Crumb, right there. Besides, whoever does hatching with the brush, stupid. And oh gosh, shoot. All right, let's see if we can get. Always the big challenge of trying to get Phydeaux's nose right. And now he's a little upset. And the hair goes up on his back. And fist. And I don't know why he did this stance this way. Like he's so upset he doesn't quite know if he's coming or going. So it's trying to think what he should do. Alright. Well, okay, I'm gonna draw the keys in his hands here, requiring a lot more detail than I'm able to do in this light. So actually, okay, lock your eyes for a second, you're gonna get a flash of brightness. Alright, now let's let the f-stop focus. Alright, you need a little bit more light to get in here. Do the key, fog, and his hands right. Not quite sure how much of this has been washed out by the camera in the background. What do you think? Can you see anything? You gotta pull the light back over here.
Well, I went off to
Yeah,
just
yeah, I
really
know.
cough.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you can still see it.
Okay.
It's lighter, obviously, but.
Yeah, I had to
Mm,
turn on some light so I could see what I was doing. Things were getting a little bit too loose here. I'm
Mhm.
really not following my lines. I couldn't see them. Yeah, this is really rough. If this was a funnier joke, something I would want to keep, I might just redo it. But I probably won't redo this. This is,
You'll keep them, you don't think?
well, I'll probably just toss it on lines, but I won't.
Oh,
I won't redo it because it's not really anything special. It's not in a storyline. And it's just that dogs can't whistle. What is the basis of the joke? So Phydeaux buys a whistle.
well, and that he has no reason to whistle for him.
Yeah. Sort of similar to the cell phone joke when Phydeaux was, back in the old days, before Phydeaux had a cell phone. He was saying, I need a cell phone. Yeah. Why? No one wants to call you.
As long as I'm not in the picture, I can actually see great from where I'm sitting right now.
Alright. Are you looking at the actual computer screen or are you
No,
looking?
I'm looking at you. Oh, you want to look at the computer?
Oh yeah, well,
No, I can see it on the computer
yeah.
screen too.
The reason why I had you around here is so you're facing the screen.
I know. But I was looking down at you too while we were doing it.
So, Dino character, you can't see in this
Yeah, I
frame,
can see.
well,
Oh.
is bald. Let's see. Yeah, well, Donnie Murray started going bald in his 20s.
Stop using his name if you're gonna stay.
Whenever I break the fourth wall and show that this is a comic strip played by hired actors, the Dino character has long flowing hair and speaks in a slightly effeminate voice.
Yeah, you could have at least fed your peppermint plants, made them look a little happier.
Yeah, we grow peppermint. Don't know why. Sort of like having a weed. But this old building has huge windows and works great for an artist studio, and it's the first time I've ever had such light. We just moved here about a year or so ago. Alright, and Dino always wears black t-shirt. The joke being that he really doesn't have any of his own clothes. He wears Bo's old clothes. You notice Bo's wearing a black t-shirt underneath his regular button down. Alright, let's see, what am I looking? Oh, it's ball. Okay. I figure out what I'm drawing here. That's the beer bottle. You know, always has either a beer bottle or a cigarette. It probably would be a little bit more realistically if he had a beer can.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say if he had a vape.
No,
I know, I'm teasing.
no, I don't think.
I know, I'm teasing.
I have the Phydeau's head here busting into the word balloon, which is something I usually don't do. I usually draw the word balloon over the guy's head. But hey, Phydeau's a star. Everyone wants to see him. Nope, there's an alarm.
Sorry folks, that's me.
We don't need that alarm, I've already done it.
I know. At least it was a pleasant rain and not like a cackling noise or something.
And go in the background, draw really small. I have to not use anything but a brush because it's too much of a temptation. This thing's drawn with a brush. I need to get big thick lines because when this thing's reduced, those little thin lines disappear. Even when I'm drawing a tiny character way off in the background, still need the thick lines, but they don't disappear. Alright, background's really easy here. In this case, I just have the baseboard. Doop, doop. Slightly lighter line, cap, and then a heavier line against the floor. Between the legs. And I already determined that the baseboard's down here because the camera angle has changed. Wink. Yoink. Yoink. Just sort of judge. Human eye can see parallel lines. You just sort of judge where you want the line to be. And you should be pretty close. So really, easy backgrounds in these three panels. I didn't even bother putting the window in. Guess I sort of knew I wanted to get in and out of this one quickly. Actually, I think I was rushed this morning when I was drawing this. I had to leave the house early this morning. Alrighty then. And now the last panel is many days later. So Phydeau's sitting in the kitchen. So he's on the kitchen island here. And supposedly there's a sink somewhere behind him. But I'm not drawing that.
Okay.
No one sees it. Yeah, let me just get the, oops, that's a horrible one. refrigerator back there somewhere. There's a little toaster oven. Upper cabinets, lower cabinets. The edge of the kitchen wall, cabinets too. The sink base. Trash can. Now let's break for a moment to do the signature. Always in the same position. Sort of this is my homage to Burke Breathitt again. You know, always write Breathitt up the side of the page. Baseboard.
It's a little close to your body, so it's kind of hard to see it.
Okay. Windowsill. Usually I would do this with a ruler, but that's background. Thing's already pretty loose as it is. Window.
Excuse me.
Cough all you want. Let's finish those cabinets. Boink, boink, boink. I actually don't mind that the brush is getting a little bit empty, because it looks nicer when the background stuff is sort of light. Always have some reason I'm very attentive to plugs and outlets. Something that's rather ubiquitous in an apartment living. Ubiquitous, I don't know what that word is. Cabinets. Stand up, trash. I always have a beer bottle in the trash. Okay, that is one ink to Phydeaux. Looks a little on the rough side, huh? Always put the cap back on your ink bottle, as you know you're gonna spill it. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Phydeaux.